Hello people and welcome back to round 2 of the ROR Championship, of course season 5. I hope you are all ready for today. We have, of course, on track Jamie, Harry, Preston and George, so actually 4 people today. I know we had 4 people last qualifying, but of course Evan got disqualified, it turned into 3. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, touch wood it doesn't. But after George's last victory, last time out, taking a full 27 points, the other guys will definitely be looking to secure more points to see if they can, potentially take the top spot off of him very soon or not. Who knows, we'll have to see how that goes. But it's going to be an interesting one, that is for sure. I am joined today by the one, the only, Peter.
Hello, hello.
How are you today?
I'm very good. I'm very good. How about yourself?
I'm very well. Oh, I'm very well. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? How are you feeling about today here in Qatar? We've never raced here before.
Yeah, it's first time out in Qatar, on the game's history. So be interesting to see how the drivers handle this brand new track, with the brand new game mode and not game mode, but brand new handling that this year's game has brought.
Very true. Very true. And obviously, I've drove a bit and everything, but you have obviously the more experience from last season. What is the difference between last game and this game, really?
I think it's more just down to like how the handling, like you can fight it more with into the corners. Like if you're sort of gonna lose it, you're able to fight it more. If you was gonna lose it, you was just gonna lose it last year, and yeah, that was about it really. But I mean, the traction's a lot better. I mean, you've done it so like last year, you'd have to run higher gears when going into a corner because a bit too much throttle, and then that's it. You lose it. But with this year, you can run much lower gears and still drive the way you want with the way you want to drive it really.
Fair enough, fair enough. It will definitely be. I said to Rickford last time out, definitely be intriguing to see who is kind of better on this game, who was better last game, like who likes which handling setup more. If you get what I'm trying to say. I'm not very good with setups, so I'm just trying to muddle up some words here. But Harry is now on the first fast lap. We will see how he goes throughout this first run of the track, really. I'm sure for him, I'm not sure if he's practiced a bit, but at least first time in this league.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see who can take pole and who won't, and who will get front row along that person on pole. I mean, you know, from looking at last race, qualifying looked very good for Harry and the Ferrari as he goes back to his old ways from season 3. So let's see what he can do this race, as he had a very good qualifying. Was on pole for a little bit, well, provisional pole, until George came along and took a 17.5 at the end, which was a superb lap from him. But Harry has looked like a bit of a dark horse. He didn't have the greatest season last in season 4, so let's see if he can better this season than he did last season. He starts this season off with a podium like he did in season 3.
And what will he be? He crosses the line with a 123.092. Who will be able to beat that? I believe that's going to be Jamie crossing the line now.
Was that Preston I saw back in Sector 2? So Preston looks like he has gone quicker in Sector 2 than what Harry has. So if we flick to Preston, we'll see what he can do. He's about to round the final corner as we speak. All he has to do is make sure we're not getting that curb too much, and he hasn't. Opens the DRS, runs down to the finish line. Let's see what Preston can do. Will it be provisional pole for this man? No, it is not. 7 tenths off of Harry and 6 tenths off of Harry, Jamie is. So Harry so far looking the better man out of those 2 Red Bulls. And what can George do? Is he in the pits? Yes, he is at the moment, still in the pits. Is he just waiting for everyone to rubber in that track and get a good lap in? Or let's see what he's playing. Maybe he might be looking to keep a set of sauce for the race, and maybe he might be only planning to do 1 or 2 laps this qualifying. But so far, Harry is on provisional pole, and it's by quite a mile, 6 tenths. That's quite a margin if you think about it, between Jamie and Preston. Preston, behind his teammate, a tenth behind his teammate. That's unusual for Preston. He's normally quite quick. Maybe he's adjusting to the track. We do not know. But it'll be interesting to see what this man can do. Maybe Jamie can start off his season now with a podium as well.
Well, he's about to cross the line. Will he better his experience? No, he won't. Mass already into 124s. Unfortunate for Jamie, but he'll be happy with a potential P2, depending on what George, as you say, can do. We shall see, obviously.
I was going to say, flick back onto Harry, because he may or may not be doing another lap, because he told me that his game plan now is to take several laps of fuel into his car and do 2 runs on the same set of softs at the start of qualifying. So can he do good? Yes, already 2.5 attempts up on his original lap. Let's stick with Harry as he runs slightly wide onto that runoff area. Nicely cornered there. Will he be able to improve it by quite more? We do not know. I mean, he's already 6 attempts up on between him and Jamie, so that's already 8 attempts quicker than Jamie so far than what anyone else can do. And I believe George might be coming out of the pits as well now, but he also goes forward. Now he's 4 attempts up on his original lap. So this is brilliant stuff. Harry is finding time out on the track as the rubber's been start to be laid down. As he comes up to the final corner now, he has to make sure this corner is perfect. He doesn't want to get too wide onto that right-hand side, nor does he want to get on that left-hand side too much, and he has. That might cost him a little bit, but maybe not by a lot. He's about to cross the line. Let's see what he can do. It's a 22.7 for Harry. 3 attempts of improvement. Maybe he lost that tenth, so maybe running off wide into that final corner and going onto that the rumbling strips has cost him a bit of time. But George is now out the pits now on an out lap now. So George has to somewhat beat a 22.7 to get on provisional pole. And what a run this man has had to start to the season. Pole and the win. This man is on quite some form. He started last season off with he started at the end of the last season with a win and starting this season off with a win. This is quite good for him. He's continuing that win streak so far. So let's see what he can do. He's about to start his first lap now.
This could be very, very interesting. Obviously taking it round, slow around that corner, but now speeding up to the full power of that Mercedes engine, I do believe now crossing the line to start his time lap. How is this going to go? How will he hit the apexes? It's going to be interesting one, that's for sure. He takes it nicely round then, bit wide there, goes off track limits, but nonetheless keeps it nicely round there. Now goes around this corner as well. Nicely done. Not too wide at all there. Coming into this corner here. I think I'd say nicely done there as well, to be honest. And now through Sector 1. That's a purple Sector 1 already. He could be on for a very fast lap here. Go ahead.
George, if we ride on board with him, if we get on his TV pod, we get to see the full force of what this Williams can do as he goes slightly wide over that curb there for a second. But let's see what he can do. He said that this is like his Jeddah, but we all know what happened in Jeddah last season where I won and I took George's win in Jeddah. But let's see if he can take this win, because he says this is like his Jeddah track, like it's one of his decent tracks again. He's gone purple Sector 2 now though. This is looking as a very, very fast lap, and again you have to try to keep to that right hand side, not on the curb. You don't want to stay on that left side for too long. And as he now opens up the DRS, runs down to the line now, will it be faster than a 22.7? And it is a faster than a 22.7. It's a 21.9, and that is 8 tenths of a second, nearly a second quicker than Harry so far. This is brilliant stuff from George. He has put a good lap in, and that's put him on provisional pole.
George showing his dominance once again on a new track of all places, showing why he is the Season 4 World Drivers Champion and one half of the Season 4 Constructors Champions. I do wonder who that other half is, to be honest. Quite a mystery, really. Yeah, him he's showing how good he is, on this game, and it's undeniable, ain't it?
Yeah, I do believe he is going to be like a prime, well, not a prime Max Verstappen, but I feel like he's going to be like Max this season, quite dominant, showing his abilities off and showing that he is just showing that he can do it all, really. I mean, we saw that, what's it called? We saw last race, he had occurred damage on towards lap one with having an incident with Harry, and still comes back to win, making an extra pit stop than the rest of the grid. So one more pit stop than the rest of the grid, and still won, which is quite good for what this champion is showing off. We obviously got the Preston, another champion on the grid today. So only two or three champions are on this on the grid.
Yes, very true. I posed a question, actually, terrific, and I'll pose the same one to you, Peter, and I think I already know your answer, to be honest. But of course, what you have this season is you have the Season 1 World Drivers Champion in Preston. You have the Season 2 World Drivers not Season 2, sorry, Season 3 World Drivers Champion in Charlie, of course not here right now, but racing this season. And the Season 4 World Drivers Champion in George. Will any of those three be able to this season take the inaugural second time World Drivers Championship that has evaded champions for seasons?
Well, it's easy to say, I think George is going to win it because of what he's managed to do last season. And if he can just replicate what he did last season and be a lot more consistent this season, then I could say maybe George. But, I can't leave Harry out the question here, Preston didn't really get the start. He didn't look a threat at all to George nor Harry at times. And I can't say anything about Charlie just yet, just because I haven't seen what this man is like or how he acts. And again, the same with Neo. I can't leave Neo out of the question either. He's looked, during pre-season, he looked fairly quick. He looked like he could be on the match with George, but...
Oh! Preston takes P2! 1/10 quicker than Harry. Sorry to interrupt you, Peter.
Yeah, from Preston. That was good luck there from Preston. But just remember, though, Harry's still on the... if he hasn't made a mistake, then I'm sure, Harry's coming to the pit. So he's made a mistake and he's going to have to pay for that. And he will only get one more run, potentially one or two more runs out if he's lucky enough and quick enough. But Jamie, he will be a bigger threat to Preston more than anyone. Because remember, Preston was sat behind... Jamie by a 10. So if Jamie's able to improve his time quicker than Preston as he goes purple sector 2, this is brilliant stuff from Jamie. But will it be fast enough to take provisional pole or even to take the front row alongside George? He has to try not to lift too much and leave, because you lose quite a bit of time if you lift up a bit too much. Not take that right hand side too hard, and you want to stay on, and that is good stuff there. He's able to keep off that left hand side curve, opens up the DRS, runs down to the finish line. What's it going to be? It's ooh, and they're evenly matched to teammates, and Preston just getting the edge by 5 1/1000ths.
That is major. Is Red Bull showing that this season they're true competitors, true contenders for the Constructors' Championship? I mean, kind of last season, Red Bull kind of gave you guys a challenge, but towards the end, you guys sort of ran off with it, didn't you, really, a bit? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, after Monaco, we really took control of the narrative and the situation, and then me and George put our foots down with it, and just, me and George were the only two people, plus Charlie, which Charlie got one win, but the rest of the wins were majority won by Alpine, me and George. Obviously, me taking 4 and George taking 6 of them. And I think throughout that year, we took 10 of the 18 wins. Oh, no, it wasn't even 18 wins because the season got cut short as well. So, I think we took 10 out of, I can't remember, I think either out of so many races. So we took the majority, more about 75% of the wins. But obviously Callum and Charlie getting the other sets of wins.
Very true, very true. But that was last season, man. It's a different game. We'll see how this season goes, and of course, everyone is in the pits now. If an AI comes out, we'll watch the AI. Well, actually, no, all the AIs are coming out. I don't know why I'm saying that. So we're just going to flick over some AIs, just see them, just have some racing in the background whilst we talk.
But yeah, before we start talking about the laps, going back to about the championship and who could potentially go for it, I can't leave Neo out of the question because obviously I haven't seen what he's like, and nor can I leave Charlie out of it. But Harry's looked very good. He's looked like he's had a strong showing so far. He got a P2 in qualifying, front row start for him out in Australia, and then obviously took P2 in the race in Austria as well. So starting off season off very strongly, but that could all change when his teammate steps in and when Neo steps in as well. So just missing two of essential drivers as well, and we couldn't see much of what Evan could do either. So we couldn't really see if he was challenging the podiums or if he was a top 5 contender for within their points. But yeah, unluckily for Evan, he got kicked out of, got disqualified due to a glitch within the game, which they've finally patched up now within the recent patch notes. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that we don't get to see what he can do today, nor what we can see Charlie or Neo do today either. So they're three people that I can't leave without the equation. But if I'm going to be totally honest, Neo could potentially be a contender to George so far. But yeah,
we shall see what happens. Who knows? But I will say this season, I think Preston, Jamie, and Harry, to be honest, will be the main three looking to get a win, because I don't think. Well, obviously Preston hasn't won since season 3.
Preston's last win wasn't out since season 3. Brazil, which was his last win, which is several races ago now. Harry's last win wasn't somewhere. It was, I think, again sometime in season 3, and I think his last win was probably Australia. I think was his last win. So again, that's quite a while since his last win as well. So 2 people, and then again Jamie. I don't think this man hasn't had a win since season 3. Yeah, since season 3 Hungary as well. So again, very 3 people that haven't had a win since season 3, but have been on the podium. I don't think Jamie hasn't had a podium. Oh no, he got podium in season 4 Monza, and then Preston's was obviously out of Singapore, and then Harry's last podium was last race, and then so George so far is looking like a main man's contend for the win, but you have to be good to do that so far. But yeah, this is the final laps now, and everyone's going to be out in the final laps. The track has improved. The grip will be better, and times will be improving rapidly. So here we go. We're along board with Preston now. Will he get purple? He's 2 attempts up on his best lap so far. Purple sector 2. We've seen the Red Bull take that purple sector 2 for some reason. They seem to like going faster in there. Maybe they have a setup designed for sector 2. Who knows? We'll find that out for the race. But Preston now approaches the final corner. Needs to stick to that right-hand side, not so much on the left. And that's brilliantly done. Perfectly executed. Opens DRS. Runs down to the final line. What will it be? It's not going to be pole position for this man. It's going to be the front road, unless it's George has improved by 2 attempts at 21.5. Will Jamie be able to get this front row start? Who knows?
Unfortunately to say, he did slip out on in sector 3.
We need to see what Harry can do. He's still out on the lap, and again, he's a 10th up. Will this be another front row for Harry in Qatar? He's now running down to the final line. What's it going to be? And I think that was P2, just barely. And that's P2 for Harry. And that is a brilliant qualifying for the man in red.
And here is your very, very short grid rundown for today. Jamie sticks it in P4, Preston in P3. Harry takes the front row again, a second time in a row. And George, of course, takes pole position, second time in a row. Guys, we'll be back in a minute with all of you. Well, actually not in a minute. We'll be back tomorrow with you guys. do not be late tomorrow. Alright? It's just a simple thing. See you guys tomorrow.